Hello everybody, this is my second devlog. After analyzing the first devlog, I realized there were many flaws that were prevalent. This mainly includes not really having a concrete idea for what the video is about. Of course there are other factors such as the microphone and the camera quality, but I feel that what matters the most is having consistent meaningful topics that relate to the video. With that clarified, I feel I should explain everything from the start to now since I don't believe I explained everything well in the previous devlog. I have always wanted to make a platformer game since growing up, pretty much all the games I enjoyed involved platforming. I can talk more about it in another video since the topic is on my project's development. As of right now, I've been starting on making a 3D platformer. Pretty simple, right? Well, actually yes, but also no. It really depends on how much refinement and smaller details enhance the experience, because I could technically just add a few blocks of the default 3D mannequin in Unreal Engine 5 and call it a day. But would anybody care? Most likely not, because that requires almost no effort and no creativity. I'm not going to feel accomplished using an engine preset as the main character, so the first thing I really wanted to do was make a 3D character myself, with animations and everything. So I decided to hop on Blender and I slowly learned various parts that come in making 3D models. The main reason why I chose Blender is because it's free and I can use it for my games commercially. Basically meaning I can sell the game with assets made from Blender. Using other software is probably not the best idea unless either a company offers it to you or if you have millions of dollars. And before I knew it, I had to learn something new before I even started working on the game. Making a character requires a lot of patience as it requires so many processes. This mainly includes box modeling, sculpting, UV unwrapping, texturing, rigging, and animation. There is much more, but those are the ones I plan to use the most. 3D modeling is definitely complex. In order to make something that looks decent, you need to be able to envision how it is constructed and how the final product will look from all angles. I have used Blender before I started to develop for my project, but the models were extremely low quality and were just overall bad. As you can see in this model, I decided to paint the eyes with everything else, which is usually not what you want. For this model, I don't think I realized how many vertices I used. And I had completely forgotten about this one, but I guess I tried to make it human, and I don't think anything else needs to be said about it. But guess what? I improved. Does that mean my modules were good? No, but they got better. I hope. I won't bore you with all the details that went into the models, but over time as I learned how to use Blender effectively, I slowly was able to see how more detailed models were made, and eventually it didn't seem too complex and actually something doable. And then I ended up with this model, which looks more like a shitpost than anything. But during the time I thought, wow, this looks cool. Let's animate it and see what happens because I'll have to learn how to do it anyways. Then I made some horrible animations and watched a tutorial on how to export to Unreal Engine. And then I ended up with this. I know, it sucks. So I decided to make a new project and start over. To summarize what happened after this, I basically remade the character models, made new animations, and exported them to the new game. I have the character models lined up with their animations, and over time, this showcase, you can see how it improved in quality. Now that I got all of that off the way, it's time to give an update on my newest model. Well, at least the current model shown in this video. After a grueling process of learning Blender, I was finally able to see my effort paying off. Of course, there are still many imperfections in this current character, but I was able to get the main structure of the body and the face to be structured much better. I even added some shape keys, which actually makes the character feel so much more alive. However, implementing these shape keys into the game will take a while, so I plan on retouching the character more before I start getting too far into the character animations. During the time we made these models, I also implemented some important character mechanics within Unreal Engine. These will be expanded upon, but at the moment the character can walk, run, jump, double jump, crouch, crouch walk, long jump, dash, wall jump, and go into a forward camera walk. There is also a badly implemented stamina bar at the side of the screen, which may or may not be utilized in the future. These are pretty basic forms of platforming, but once I'm satisfied with the main character model, these mechanics will definitely be expanded upon. Alongside this, I also made some moving grass foliage and basic landscape tests to get a feel for how to make various landscapes in the future. The landscape materials itself are free to use within Unreal Engine, but I will likely replace them with something more stylized in the future. Again, I wish to clarify the animations will be remade alongside the character model, as I don't have a finished prototype of anything yet. But hopefully this gives you a better idea on what I have implemented so far, and that this process of improvement will continue as I learn more about the fundamentals of the programs I use. Making a 3D platformer the way I envisioned it is hard, but every day I see my goal becoming more possible as I improve. I hope this video is more informative than last time. I get that there are many issues that I have to fix regarding the game itself, to the actual quality and enjoyment of the videos, but it's all a big learning process for me. Making a game as well as making good video content is definitely a challenge. If you have any feedback on this, feel free to comment here or join the Discord server to have more information on where I'm at in general. Lastly, if you feel like subscribing to see whenever I upload new content, that would be cool, but that's all I have to offer for now. Thanks for watching and goodbye.